With us today, we have Ronny Hermansen, CEO of the company, and Anita Patel Jusnes, CCO of Genetic Analysis. And with that said, please take us through your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we are very excited to present genetic analysis here today. And genetic analysis is core focused on the microbiome. And this market is now being really revolutionized by pharma coming into the market with drugs. And thus there is an imminent need for routine diagnostics solutions. And that's what GA is all about. It's to power the microbiome market with routine diagnostic solutions. But before we move further into GA and talk about that, we would like to set the scene with a short film.
What do you know about your gut? Do you, for example, know that it is 40 times larger than the area of the skin, has its own neural network, produces around 20 hormones, has a microbiome with bacteria, fungi, viruses, and other microbes that together has 200 times more genes than the human genome? And that the microbiome is responsible for programming 2/3 of the human immune system? The fact is that our gut and its symbiotic relationship to the microbiome is extremely complex, and we have a long way to go before fully understanding how it works. But the gut holds a lot of potential for improving our health. In recent years, there has been research indicating that an imbalance in our microbiome is closely linked to a number of conditions and diseases like IBS, IBD, obesity, autism, depression, Parkinson's, autoimmune diseases, diabetes, and even cancer. So why aren't we testing it more? Well, until now, there hasn't been an easy standardized way to test our gut microbiome composition, which makes it hard to both assess and compare the results. Genetic Analysis is working to change this, and through extensive gut health research, developed and patented the GA-MAP platform, which is the only routine diagnostics tool for gut microbiome testing. In short, it works like this. The patient uses a sample collection kit. The sample is sent to a lab, where it is analyzed using GA-MAP software. The healthcare specialist then gets a simple functional profile of your gut microbiome health. Genetic Analysis has already successfully launched in EU and in US, and is now aiming to become the world's leading company in gut microbiome testing. We have only started to scratch the surface of our gut's complex workings. A standardized test could accelerate the possibilities to find better treatments for a number of diseases, better prevent gut microbiome imbalance, and help monitor disease progression. What is your gut telling you?
Yes, thank you. I hope you really enjoyed this short film that gave us insight into the very exciting life or area of the gut microbiome. GA, if we want to go more into the company, GA was founded back in 2008, so we are really a pioneer in this area. We have the core focus on the gut microbiome. So we are a molecular diagnostics with core focus in this area. We have developed the GA-MAP platform, the first routine-based diagnostics tool out there for this area. It's all backed up by patents and clinical documentation. We have partnerships with global industrial leaders like Luminex and Biorad. And in addition to have products on the market today, we have an exciting pipeline of new markers to come, especially within the gastro area. We also have a unique biobank with more than 7,000 patient samples from different disease cohorts like IBD, IBS, Parkinson, diabetes type 2, just to mention. And this biobank is highly appreciated by clinical researchers in academia and also pharma companies that wants to co-develop markers with us. So if we look at our products that we have on the market today on our platform, We have launched the GMAP dysbiosis test for IBS and IBD patients. We have also launched the fecal COVID-19 test. So these products are out in the market in EU and US. So what is the health benefit for the patient and the society by using the GMAP platform? Right diagnostics is really the key to any successful treatment, and that also applies for the microbiome area. So by using our test, the specialist, the doctor, can actually diagnose the imbalance in the gut, the dysbiosis, map it and categorize it, and use that actively when he or she select the appropriate treatment for the patient. So by doing this, you get less trials and errors, and you improve the patient life, and you save cost for the health economy. And what is really exciting now is that microbiome altering drugs, the future is actually here now. Pharma companies have spent more than close to $5 billion in more than 700 programs to develop microbiome altering drugs. There are several companies that now have projects or products in phase 2 and 3 in the FDA system. And the market is now debating and discussing who will be the first to launch an FDA-approved product. But these drugs will hit the market very soon, but where is diagnostics? It's still kind of focused on research-based tools and methods, but GA in its GMAP has the only routine diagnostic solution in this market. And of course, pharma industry has noticed that. So it is actually with great pleasure that the MTIG group in the US, the Microbiome Therapeutics Innovation Group, that consists mainly of pharma companies, invited the first diagnostics company into their group, and that was GA, because they see that proper diagnostics is very important for them when they are going to select patients, follow up patients during using their drugs. So pharma is also very important for GA, and therapeutics and diagnostics goes hand in hand. So what is GA's offering? If we see here, GA deliver a standard platform from sample collection and all the way out to results are being presented to the healthcare specialist. So we will implement our platform in the lab, here visualized by the Luminex instrument, which is, by the way, out in more than 15,000 labs worldwide. We will sell the reagent kit to the laboratory that has implemented our platform, and they will run a typical 96 plates test, get the results out immediately, and these results will be compared to a healthy gut microbiome. So what is the unique selling points for the GMAP platform? Well, as I've said already, it's the first routine diagnostics platform for microbiome. It's an easy entry for the lab into the microbiome area. And it's easy for them to actually integrate it in their lab flow, which is important. And by doing so, it's actually time and cost efficient for the lab. It's faster, better, and cheaper. And as I said, results are reported immediately, and these results are compared to a healthy gut microbiome profile. It's validated and CE marked, of course. So what is the business model and the IP for GA? In Oslo, we have about 22 employees. We do all development of our core markers. We do software development. We also produce the reagent kits in Oslo. And our business idea is very typical for diagnostics industry. We will place the platform into the labs and then we will provide the platform with reagent kits. So that gives us recurring revenues. We also have a service lab in Oslo that we use actively. It could be used towards the gastroenterologist down the corner. It could be smaller labs that doesn't have the volume yet to put the whole platform in-house. Or even more important in many ways is the clinical researchers in academia and pharma that uses our service lab in their research. It's a very high margin business and it's very scalable. And as I mentioned previously, in GA we focus a lot on our IP and we patent any invention that we see has a potential outcome money-wise. And we have 6 patent families today on 3 important areas: the platform and the software. We also have focused more and more on patenting signatures, bacterial signatures that gives a prognostic value towards the outcome of treatment. So that's very important. And of course, as we look at next generation technology, and that is also something we have focused a lot on. So I will introduce you to the market, to Anita.
Yes, thank you, Ronny. Thank you so much. So it's my pleasure to break this down into how we look at the market and how we believe this market will develop. But like Ronny said, the future is here when it comes to microbiome. And I would just like us to spend a few minutes looking at some market research. This is a report, and there are many reports out there, that shows that the external trend and the market size is growing. So it's expected that this market will grow by over 20% year by year, and is all fueled by therapeutics, diagnostics, and also research like Ronny described up until now. So we believe, if we believe this report, we see that the projected, estimated size of the market could be up to $2 billion. And it's like a huge potential there. But this growth will only come if companies like GA fuel this growth. And we believe we have the expertise and also the tools to fuel this. Let me explain this more. So we break down the market in geographies like this. If you look at up until now, this market has been mainly grown and characterized by research groups and research-based revenues. But moving forward, it is projected that big pharma, small pharma, probiotic companies, diagnostic companies, everyone who wants a piece of this trend and this exciting game changer, I would say, in medicine, will fuel this market. And it's the North American market that is expected to grow the most. But as you see, Europe is there. The Asian market is also showing a lot of interest, and we also believe that GA will be a part of this growth. So how do we work in this environment, and how do we create this market and also at the same time take market shares? So we are players today in 2 of the market segments, as you see here, the medical diagnostics, which Ronny described. This is where we have our business already in the functional medicine area. We also see more and more research coming in, and our platform is being used in research and clinical trials. But for the future, we have started the journey towards companion diagnostics. And this is where the exciting, solutions will come in the future when it comes to microbiome. And we see that, when the pharma companies develop their drugs, like Ronny said, where is the diagnostics? How do we select the patients? How do we monitor the patients? So for the future, companion diagnostics is a big market segment. And I would say, last but not least, the consumer diagnostics. And we will do a small deep dive in each of these market segments just to show you how we think we can change these segments. So we're already tapping into the existing market today, as I said. There's approximately 500,000 tests being done on gut microbiome today, and we are doing everything to take market share here today with our GA map. So what is the strategy? It is to power more labs with our routine diagnostic platform. So the medical diagnostic is our core focus right now. Research diagnostics is coming. We are already being used in clinical trials, and the future is predicted by relevant endpoints in clinical trials having microbiome as one of their major endpoints, because it's all about side effect profiles. It's all about how the disease or the drug or the therapy affects your microbiome. So we think that we will see more and more CRO labs, maybe big pharma, you know, getting more in dialogue with microbiome diagnostics. So this is a very, very exciting field, and research is actually accelerating as we speak on this. So is the companion diagnostics, which is also linked with research, but this is all about, you know, creating the solutions for the future in collaboration with pharmaceutical companies and with biomarkers that has been identified. Because if you have biomarkers that are identified linked to a disease today, I mean, GA platform is super, super solid and a good platform to just plug and play your biomarkers, and then we can easily develop new tests. So this is also where we are positioning ourselves. And then the consumer. I mean, post-COVID is maybe not here yet, but I mean, COVID has really shed a light on how important our health is and how important it is to have a preventive healthcare system as well. And microbiome is actually a very big part of this. So we think consumers and the fitness trend is also a big part of our commercial strategy moving forward, because it's easy for us to power the consumer market with this test. And in partnership with a strong, healthy, you know, company with direct-to-consumer muscles, we will certainly, you know, be interested to go that direction. So back to commercial strategy. We already launched in some markets in Europe, and also we are present in the US. And it's all about building distribution, I would say. Building distribution within all these 4 different market segments, because they're very different. But we need more partners and more distributors to really fuel this. We're a small Norwegian company, as I say, but we, you know, have the global vision of really taking this expansion strategy through distributors and partners. So US already launched. Here we have a couple of very strong distributors and partners. Europe is a bit fragmented. We're working on building up distribution and also entering more and more small and mid-sized markets. But here, you know, it's fair to say that the big 5 in Europe, like Spain, France, UK, Italy, and Germany, is really driving this microbiome market. And Germany, I would say, is the most important market for us. And also Asia, moving forward. I mean, we are in discussions about China. We are looking at different models and how to enter Asia. There's certainly a lot of research and a lot of interest there. So this is for the future. But right now we need to focus. And so our focus is mainly Germany or Europe and US. So in a very short overview, I would say that it's all about taking market share from the existing market. We know that labs all around the world are performing microbiome testing today. It's all about switching them over to our technology, which is cheaper and faster and better, as we like to say it. And then it's also about building the market. We want to come with new platforms, with new tests on our current platform, like for IBD, for instance. There's a big project. But this is all done in collaboration with academia and also pharma companies. And the third step is also about the testing or the pipeline. So let me just show you very briefly that the pipeline is also something we focus on. IBS, we already have the dysbiosis test, but there are also targeted indications to look at. We have IBD, especially IBD UC is a very hot topic right now. We are going into research phase. And then diabetes, obesity, some pilot projects, explorative, very exciting data. And cancer and NASH and liver diseases is on the list, but this is just to show you that we've been approached by a lot of academia lately that would like to run more pilot clinical projects. So, Ronny, I would like to give back to you.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Anita. Yeah, so if we look at the summary here of GA, we have highly skilled management that has been out there. We have proven track records from pharma, from diagnostics, and we are backed up by an experienced board that will help us to fuel this growth. We have a unique position in the microbiome diagnostics market, and it's backed up by global industrial partners. GA will accelerate the commercial expansion of our current products, and we have an exciting pipeline of new products. So thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you a lot for the presentation. I think we should kick off the Q&A session then.
Sure.
The first question, you're aiming for a public listing this fall. Can you elaborate on the possibilities that will come along being a public company?
Yeah, very short, of course. I mean, as of today, we have been lucky in the sense that we have attracted some very highly interesting and skilled investors in this field also. But being listed, we think that we will be more visible. Of course, you have the thing that there will be more liquidity in the share for the investors, but we will be more visible out there. And even though we are a front runner in this business, in this area, it's still very much happening out there. And I think putting us on the map as a listed company will help us not only getting quality investors, but also partners and other collaborating partners. So I think that's the main thing for us, I would say.
You mentioned investors there. If we look at the shareholders, can you tell us a bit more about them as they are right now, and what kind of investors are you seeking to attract when you go public?
Well, GA has been in the lucky phase in that respect that we have had a couple of big industrial investors, for example, Bio-Rad. We have had some core other investment family offices that has really, because this has taken a long time. I mean, we have, as we said, we were established in 2008. So we have had some good, strong investors on board. But now going into the listing, we probably look for more specialized investors, as you have in the Swedish market. Well, we know already we have gotten that. And of course, we want also the
public.
The public,
or
what's the English?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry. But, you know, we want the spread on the share. So we want you and me, the people in the street, to help that. And of course, we want investors that really appreciate this very exciting area.
Okay, thank you. If we look at the lockup agreements prior to the IPO, how does that look for the biggest shareholders and management in the company?
Yeah. The biggest shareholder, Bio-Rad, and management and board has locked up for all their existing shareholdings and what they will subscribe for in this IPO for a little bit more than a year.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Next question then. Your vision is to become the referred company for standardized gut microbiota testing. Are there any foreseeable challenges to achieve this goal? Tough question.
Yeah, it's a tough question. It's a good question.
There's always challenges, right?
Yeah.
Like we talked about the challenges being, you know, just to come up till this point has been a challenge. Challenge 4, we would say, is to make this a game changer in medicine. I mean, to make it acceptable, not only as a clinical, you know, or a research tool or research field, but also like mainstream medical field that is accepted, and also something that we think will change the future of medicine, modern medicine. I mean, these are the challenges when it comes to awareness and how the market sees this kind of testing and how it links into the therapeutic areas, I think, right? But at the same time, it's we're dependent on good partners, right?
Of course.
And a lot of new exciting projects to come and new tests to be developed. Like we said, you know, our pipeline is also very important to us when it comes to.
And we usually said, I mean, we have been when we launched the test the first time, we've kind of developed the mobile phone, but the network is still not there. But by pharma now launching therapeutics that actually actively go in and change your microbiota, I think the network has really arrived, and this focus is there now. So, but there will always be challenges.
Yeah. Okay, next question then. In your latest financial report, one could read about your market introduction in Poland. Looking forward, which countries do you find valuable in the European market?
Yeah, I mentioned during the presentation the big five, and from the big five, I would say all of them are interesting. But if I had to choose, I mean, Germany, as I pointed out, is a very, very important and big market. They have established a more mature market in terms of microbiota testing, I would say. But we see also France and Italy coming up with research groups that are very strong in this field. We see FMT clinics that goes into the restoration of microbiome area. In UK, it's a big thing. So, I mean, all the big five are our focus areas, and we are dedicated on leads identification, and we are in dialogue in all 5 markets today. So I would say the big five, yes.
Yep.
But at that note, Poland you mentioned, we're super excited to launch in Poland, and I must say we've been surprisingly, overwhelmed by the interest from Eastern Europe and the private markets there. So I think we will see some business coming from smaller markets as well.
Then we have a question regarding your pipeline. Will you have sufficient money to address IBD and diabetes T2? If not, how much will be needed to launch these products?
Yeah. In the funding plans as we are now, IBD is our core project, and it is funded on the cash that we raise. And also just to mention that we got now close to $2 million in grant from the Norwegian Research Council. So this is a high prioritized project. Diabetes type 2, we have had a pilot project, and we found some very interesting signatures that we want to go further with. But we are looking for partners there to kind of balance the funding. So I would say our core project is funded, definitely.
And the partnership you mentioned there, are they to support your R&D process going forward? Is that the main priority for the funding?
Is to support the R&D, but it could also be a typical pharma probiotics company that could see the value of having a diagnostic test in their market.
And going into the companion diagnostic field.
Yep. Okay. Okay, to wrap things up, can you share 3 upcoming value inflection points on why investors should join in the upcoming offering?
Yeah, I would say we would really like to take a share of the existing market out there that Anita has talked about and take more of it. We have already had one successfully launched customer in the US. So we will see more agreements coming out on signing deals with laboratory partners. That's very important. Also, as we have mentioned already, to sign a deal with a pharma company, or it could be probiotic, to develop or co-develop markers with them is very important. So they have 2. And then I think maybe a geographical expansion into Asia would be very important. That's my thinking.
I agree with you.
Good. That's it then.
Thank
A
you.
big thank you to Ronny and Anita for your presentation and for your answers to all the questions we received from the viewers. And good luck with the upcoming listing.
Thank you.